Okay, this is practice problem number 3 for chapter 22. And this one here is in relation to the preparation of the production budget. So this is very crucial to prepare because this budget, type of budget, will lead into the preparation of the direct materials budget and also the direct labor budget, factory overhead budget, and so on and so forth. So we have let me expand this here. We have a scenario here. And you're going to realize that once we prepare this production budget, it's going to look similar to the direct materials budget. So if you haven't checked out that video yet, please go do so before getting into this video. That's going to be um, described as practice problem number 2. Okay, so this one here looks like this is a company budgets the following unit sales for the next 4 months. For April, they budgeted to produce 3,000 units. The month of May, 4,000 units. June, 6,000 units. And July, 2,000 units. The company's policy is to maintain finished goods inventory equal to 30% of the next month's unit sales. So this one is a crucial part here that is going to be included in the production budget. So it says at the end of March, the company had 900 finished units in inventory. That's also going to be an important part as well. That's going to be included in the production budget. So this is pretty similar to what is actually included in the direct materials budget as well. So it says prepare a production budget for each of the months of April, May, and June. So this time we actually are going to have to prepare a production budget for the 3 months, April, May, and June. So I'm going to set everything up here. April, May, and June. Okay, so the very first and most important thing for us to do is figure out um, how much is needed in budgeted sales in units. That's very important because that's going to determine, well, how many units will need to be produced in order to get X amount of sales. So we're going to bring in budgeted sales units, and they already provide us with the numbers here. For April, it is 3,000 units. May is 4,000 units, and June is 6,000 units. We don't need to bring in July because we're not preparing the budget for July, but we are going to be using the numbers, but it's going to be included in one of these months here. Okay, so we're going to start off with just April. So April, we started off with 3,000 units. That's the budgeted sales in units. Then we're going to add, this sentence here where it says maintain finished goods inventory equal to 30% of the next month's unit sales. So just like the direct materials budget, that gives the company a little bit of a buffer, a cushion, because the budgeted sales units, yes, it's 3,000 for April, but what if they end up producing 3,500 units? So let's say that actually happened and they didn't have enough units that's, I want to say, in their inventory or in the production process to fulfill all 3,500, let's just say, orders. So that would be a problem, which means that they need to, provide themselves a little bit of a cushion just in case they go over the 3,000 units that's initially budgeted in sales. So we're going to add the desired ending inventory. Okay, so which means that we're going to bring in the next period budgeted sales units. and that's going to be in May of 4,000 units. All right. Then we're going to multiply it by the 30% that they give us. So that's going to be the ratio of inventory to future sales. So 30%. So our desired ending inventory in units is going to be 4,000 multiplied by 30%. That's going to give us 1,200 units. So this is our buffer here, our cushion. So I'm scroll down here. Our total required in units is going to be 3,000 budgeted sales in units plus the 1,200 units. That's our buffer there. That's the desired ending inventory in units. That's going to be 4,200. Okay, I'll put it over here right next to the 4,200, showing you all where it's coming from. This is the 3,000 units. That's coming from the budgeted sales plus the desired, there we go, plus the 1,200 desired ending inventory in units. So then we go back up here to the scenario. They let us know that at the end of March, so the month before April, the company had 900 finished units in inventory. So they already have units in inventory. So what they need to do, because they're preparing a budget, they need to go ahead and subtract those units that they already have. So this is going to be less beginning inventory in units, which is going to be, they give it to us 900 units. So we're going to subtract 900 units from 4,200, which means that our units to produce is going to be 3,300 for the month of April. All right. So let me go back up here with the beginning inventory units. So in this scenario, it shows that at the end of March, March has an ending inventory of 900 units, and it's finished units. And so you see here in the April budget is listed as beginning inventory. Now, the reason why, just to provide some clarity here, is because, well, at the end of March, the ending inventory came out to be 900 units that were finished. So that the number of units of 900 units that was shown at the end of March carried over into the beginning period of April, which is why it's listed as beginning inventory units for the month of April. Okay, so now we're going to move on to May, and we're just going to be doing the same process as we did in April. Same thing with June as well, as we would do in May. Okay, so we're going to add the desired ending inventory. Well, we already have the budgeted sales in units for May, which is 4,000. Now we're going to have to take into consideration that cushion. All right, so the desired ending inventory, we're going to go ahead and take the next period budgeted sales in units, which is going to be from June of 6,000. And where they already gave us the ratio here, this percentage of 30%. So we're going to take 30% of 6,000. That's going to be 1,800. And that's going to be our desired ending inventory in units. So our total required in units is going to be the 4,000 units that's budgeted in sales for May, plus the desired ending inventory in units, which includes 30% of June's budgeted sales in units. That's going to give us, let's see, 5,800. Making sure my math is correct, 5,800. Now we're going to subtract out the beginning inventory in units. Now we are in the month of May, so we have to now look backwards, and we're going to have to take from or subtract this 1200 here that's from April, and we're going to have to bring it into May, or it's going to be a subtraction in May. But I want you to know that this amount here of 1200, this is going to be May's balance at the beginning of the period in inventory, which is coming from the ending balance from April. Okay. So we're going to subtract 1200 from 5800. That's going to give us 4600 units to be produced in May. Now we go to the June, and it's going to be a rinse and repeat. So we started off with the budgeted sales in units for June of 6,000. And now we're going to add our desired ending inventory, which is going to be the next period budgeted sales in units. So the next period, so after June, it's going to be July. And they provide us with the number of units, which is 2,000 units here in a scenario. So I'm just going to bring in 2,000 units. And that's from July. We're going to multiply it by 30%. It's going to give 600, which means that our total required units is going to be 6,000 from budgeted sales in units for June, plus the desired ending inventory in units of 600. That's going to come out to be 6,600. Now we're going to subtract out the beginning inventory units, which is going to come from the desired ending inventory in units for March, or that's in March, that was calculated for March, which is 1,800. So we're just going to bring this 1,800 into the June's production budget, and it's going to be subtracted from 6,600. And that's going to give us 4,800. Okay, so the units that needs to be produced, or that's estimated to be produced within the production budget for April, is 3,300. For May, 4,600. For June, 4,800.